All right, I'm just going to start this off pretty simple. I'm not going to show you how this works. Okay? Sorry. I like to educate people, and maybe one day I'll get to the place where I have some of these videos on another site. But right now, it's on YouTube, so I'd like the video to actually stay on YouTube and not get removed. So, let's talk about sears and switches and semi-auto guns. This doesn't just apply to pistols, but it's in the news right now, right? In relation to pistols, specifically Glocks. So, there's some problems with some idiots getting some switches, which are illegal. Imagine that. People doing things that are illegal. What? I didn't know that people did things that were illegal. Clearly, Congress and lawmakers say, you know what? You can't do that thing. It's illegal. And shocker if people just don't listen. Imagine that. So there's some new stuff going on in some law circles about, a switch that turns this thing fully auto. Well, and now Glock is doing their whole V series. I haven't even looked up. It's been a busy week or two. I haven't even posted a video in a while. But I've heard the rumor that Glock is getting rid of all of their current lineup with the exception of, I think it's the subcompacts, right? The 43, 43X, and 48. Which means this gun would end up being discontinued. It's a Gen 5 47. I don't know if that's true or not, so I'm not saying it is. I heard a little bit that it could be a rumor. But that's not the point of the discussion. The point of the discussion is they changed their design to supposedly be less easily converted with a switch. Okay, 100% I think that is possible. Make it significantly harder. I can't say impossible, but significantly harder to just shove shove a switch onto here, and now you got a fully auto gun, and you can buy a switch for, what were they selling for, like $10? Not even. Again, highly illegal, but, whatever. Should it be? I don't know. It brings up the topic of discussion of, well, it's really stupid to just discontinue an entire lineup of these or all of your guns to make a design that's harder to be fully autoed, right? So I can understand the thought of what they're doing with the V-line, and if they make it a lot harder to externally just add something on without knowing what you're doing and make it full auto. I'm behind that. I back it. Discontinuing guns? No. But, okay, I back future design, making it harder to just, stick the switch on, do it with a $10 little device, and you now have a fully auto gun with the Magpul 27 rounders or the Glock, 33 rounders or whatever. Okay, cool. I can get that. However, functionally, all of these guns, all semi-auto firearms, can be converted to fully auto. We hear about it all the time, even if you don't know you have. Switches on Glocks, force reset triggers, or those, what'd the guy call them? It's like a credit card size piece of metal that was already laser etched. That was like the full auto credit card or something like that. Sorry, coffee break. That could turn your AR fully auto just by folding up this piece of like scrap metal. That's all possible because of how semi-autos function, right? It's not far off to be able to make a semi-auto gun fully auto. No ATF, I have not done it. I'm not doing it. I'm not going to do something that will land me in prison. Chill, okay? I'm not even showing people how to do it. We're just talking. It's possible, right? I mean, heck, the SIG, there's a lot of room back here. You could probably figure something out from right here. right? The Glock has less room, arguably, and people can still figure it out. Smith & Wesson, again, there's room back here. You can figure it out. Besides that, if you know what you're doing, you can take these apart and mess with the sear, mess with the safeties, mess with the trigger bars, and figure out a way to make any of these fully auto. Okay? Really not an outlandish thing to do. Not the average person can figure it out. You need to be able to understand small mechanics and how they interact with levers and springs and how the resets work and everything. But it's 100% possible. So I can understand the move on the, I think it's called the V series, Glocks, being less easily converted. However, that is not going to be a thing that can happen, of making these impossible to convert to full auto. All semi-automatic guns can be converted to be fully auto. Okay? That's just how it is. Heck, an FRT that drops into an AR-15, it's a trigger and safety combo. I know there's, who made it? The super safety or something like that. It's literally just a safety, or it might come with its own trigger. I don't remember, but it's in the trigger and safety area of the gun. It's not converting anything else. It's not changing the bolt. It's the trigger and the safeties. That's what's changing those to be able to fire at a different rate. Super safeties, force reset triggers. They don't convert it to full auto. They do make it function in the realm of what a semi-automatic gun is. However, they go all the way up to that line right before full auto, and that's where they stop. Because it's illegal to go past it, right? They have understood and figured out the mechanics of that gun and been able to make something that takes advantage of it already being an automatically firing weapon, just semi-auto, and they can leverage mechanics to make it fully auto, or all the way up to that line as they can, while making it to where the trigger still has to be pressed every time, right? It is impossible to prevent these firearms from being fully auto converted. Okay, that's my spiel. Again, I'm not showing it. I'm not saying how to do it. And frankly, I don't want a video explaining how to do it, and then I'm at fault for people doing it and then doing things they shouldn't, right? And getting in trouble. If you want to go out on a limb and figure out how to do it yourself, I'm not. That's your decision, not mine. I'm not helping you. Coffee's so good, man. So yeah, that's that. That's my spiel. Stupid little video. Just wanted to have that little conversation. That, you know what, Glock, I back it. I think it's weird that you're discontinuing all other guns, and you shouldn't have done that. But I can also understand why, if you're releasing these new designs. But I frankly don't know why you couldn't just leave everything as is, come out with the new line, and slowly, if you really wanted to get rid of them, slowly fade them out. But to just cut it seems crazy to me. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a fun day.